He's a star who likes a fast car. The man is a MOPAR guy who's always had a soft spot for those classic Chargers. And now he plans on taking one of those rides to a whole new level.
It's actually one of the Chargers that's kind of underappreciated in my opinion.
It's music legend Kenny Wayne Shepherd and a team of top car pros working on a MOPAR that's as cool as it is rare.
You know, I wanted to customize one and show people what this car is capable of.
And he'll unveil it before a sea of MOPAR mania.
The technology that these guys are coming up with in these cars today is truly amazing.
It's all gonna happen right here on Hot Rod TV, coming your way right now. Kenny Wayne Shepherd knows what it's like to have fans. He even knows what it's like to be a fan. But for Kenny, it's all about cheering for a certain kind of car.
I'm a big MOPAR lover, and I really like the Dodge Charger. It's one of my favorite cars, probably of all time.
He currently has his eye on a '72 Dodge Charger.
I really haven't seen anybody do one of these in a pro touring style.
Kenny's heading to Picture Car Warehouse, where Ted Moser and his team do what they do best.
We build, design, and create cars for the movie industry.
Ted builds cars for guitar players, too.
We're getting ready to tear this 1972 Dodge Charger down. We're going to strip the paint and get it down to bare metal and see what we're working with here.
As he always does, Kenny gets his hands down into the deconstruction. And that's because this musician is also a certified car guy.
Safety first.
Ultimately, there's only one way to see exactly what sort of hand you've been dealt.
All right, so let's see what's under this paint.
As Kenny and Ted start to peek behind the scenes, they're pleasantly surprised to learn that the metal on this car is in pretty good shape.
The reason we wanted to strip this car is so we could look at it, see what we had, and figure out what we want to do cosmetic-wise.
Well, I think we're going to shade the side marker lights. We're going to tuck the bumpers in, basically nice and flush. I think the car is probably going to be black, make it real sinister looking. I think we can fit a 305 without doing any modifications to the rear end. But we could also look into mini-tubbing it and even get an even wider tire back there. I know we can do a 285 in the front too, so that ought to be some really good rubber there.
It's time for the next phase, and this will probably be the last firing of this old engine. Well, for a cool old classic, it sounds pretty good. But just wait till they get done with this ride. Kenny will be working with his pal Shannon Hudson of Red Line Gauge Works. And Shannon is the man when it comes to knowing how to do a new dash.
You know, Just Dashes is going to restore the dash. We can have them add a couple gauges over here. Kenny needs to get in here and get his screwdriver and go to town.
Kenny knows that working on the car is only part of this get-together.
It's a bunch of good friends getting together to work on a car. The car is what brings us together. I mean, the seat's already been torn out. Usually they find a lot of cool or not so cool stuff underneath the seats. I just noticed that we've inherited some parking tickets with this car. So hopefully somebody paid them, because when we go to re-register this car, we might have a bit of an issue.
Well, a car this old will have plenty of issues and plenty of surprises, starting with a new engine that's off the hook, to be unveiled at a party that's just as radical. All that and more when we return to Hot Rod TV. We're back at Ted Moser's Picture Car Warehouse, along with music sensation Kenny Wayne Shepherd. Kenny and Ted are hard at work on a 72 Charger, getting the car ready for a major reinvention. Right now, Ted has a plan.
Bring it back upstairs, pull the engine, transmission, rear end, going with all new drivetrain in it.
That sounds good to Kenny, and so far, luck has been on their side. As the paint came off, they saw that the body was in good shape, and as the car hits the lift, it seems like it's all looking good down below as well.
So it looks pretty solid. I don't think we're gonna have to worry about patching the floors or anything like that.
The engine is another matter, in store for a great surprise coming up shortly. For now, the old one has to come out, and it's about to begin a well-earned retirement, having spent its life as the heart and soul of a classic 70s muscle car.
Good job, Ted.
Nice.
And here comes that great surprise. This is no ordinary crate engine. It's the kind of power that even Ford and Chevy guys respect.
The new 392 Hemi showed up today.
And did it ever. Ready to provide some heavy horsepower as it keeps the weight off the ride.
And one of the great things about this package is that it is a Hemi and it puts out 525 horsepower, but it's in basically a similar package to a small block, you know? So it's a lot lighter than the original Hemis and it takes up a lot less space. So you're getting more power in a smaller package, and that's great, you know, because the less weight in a car, the faster you're gonna go.
So, what else arrived today?
A bunch of rear end parts for the suspension and the rear differential showed up today.
It's gonna be a whole new car, resulting in state-of-the-art gear that'll be a classic ode to pure American muscle. But that will come later. For now, it's the end of one darn productive workday.
We've got a lot accomplished, but we got a lot of work ahead of us.
So as the build moves on to a whole new day, we first have a look at one of Kenny's other great MOPAR creations. You've seen it driving around the Hot Rod Power Tour and parked prominently at the SEMA show. It's the Extreme Lee, Kenny's 585 horsepower tribute to the Dukes of Hazzard County. That car is gonna be one tough ride to beat. As work resumes on the Charger, Kenny's not here. Well, what he doesn't know can't hurt him.
I guess Kenny doesn't even know that we're doing this, so they told me to start cutting it, so I'm just gonna start cutting it.
This Dodge is looking forward to some pretty big tires, so the team will be tubbing out the body.
Now we're gonna move on to these spot welds right here. We're gonna drill those out, and we are gonna try and remove the hinge for the trunk.
That's another issue when it comes to this kind of modification. Reworking the wheel wells can lead to even more modifications to the trunk and to the back seat. But if you're into muscle cars and putting a lot of rubber on the road, you're not gonna want it any other way.
Got her out.
Well, Kenny seemed to think that the floor was in pretty good shape, but it didn't cut the mustard with this bunch. As the worn Charger floor is taken away, a shiny new replacement floor arrives, already convincing us that this was a very good idea.
We got the floor pan in, so we're gonna start tack welding it in, start fitting it, make sure everything works out as planned.
And the heat is on, joining this floor to its much older counterpart. It's a job requiring time, and a true pro knows exactly how much.
So it looks like about 5 more hours of this, so I'm gonna get back to work.
When we return, the work continues, along with one smoking paint job and the installation of that incredible Hemi. It's all happening here on Hot Rod TV. Kenny Wayne Shepherd's 72 Charger is being made great here at Ted Moser's Picture Car Warehouse. The paint's been stripped and the bodywork continues. As Kenny arrives, it's time for an update.
What we did was we mini tubbed it, which was we just extended the tubs to the frame.
Now it's ready for big tires.
And we also shaved the bumpers. What they wanted was the more modern look like they have on newer style cars.
Kenny and the team are going for a pro touring look on this car.
You know, as far as like to make a car look really good and really sleek, you want to have everything tucked in as tight as possible and just as straight as possible, and that's what we're going for on this car.
All the gaps and lines have to be perfect, and if they're not, well, they'll just need to be worked on. These aren't things that you'll want to address after a few coats of custom paint go on the car. Kenny knows there's a lot going on in other departments too.
We got the seats in not too long ago. We got the material in the shop that we're covering the seats with. We got the upholstery guys working on that right now.
This is probably the first project we've done where we've done most everything in-house.
We're gonna take a couple of the seats and we're gonna put them in the car and kind of mock it up and see how it all fits in there.
And even with the seats, they're gonna stay MOPAR all the way.
So what we have here is we got the seats out of a 2008 Chrysler Sebring convertible. There's no roll bar for us to do like a 5-horn harness, so this is the second best thing.
Kenny Wayne's really thought this one out. Most of the input has been from him. It's his design. He wants to do something with his statement on it.
It'll be a statement, embracing the great car design of the 70s. Mopar fans like Kenny Wayne know the entire story of this great automobile. The Charger was Dodge's response to the fastback fad that was started by the Ford Mustang and the Plymouth Barracuda. Based on the mid-size Dodge Coronet, the Charger was launched in 1966 and quickly became a hit. From the beginning, it packed serious muscle, from the 318 V8 to the almighty 426 Hemi. Finally, it seemed that the Mopar crowd had some serious mid-size muscle to bring to the party. This particular Charger is going for that sinister black that Kenny wanted on this ride. The perfect design companion for the radical Hemi going under the hood. It's going on fast and it's going on smooth. And in no time flat, we'll be hitting the clear coat and getting an update from Ted.
Monday morning, 9:30. We're gonna try and get the engine in, get all the front end fished. So as soon as the fabricator shows up, which who knows what time that'll be, we'll try and get the rear end modified.
The team here has built hundreds of cars for film and television, but this one is special because it's being built to last for a car lover.
You know, we see cars that we build and they crash them and tore them up and they're like, oh, okay, this one here is going to be one that we'll be able to see and follow through, and then we'll be seeing it going to car shows, and then I'll have some good pride into it. Everybody will be putting a little bit of their own pride into this car.
Now the power comes together, a set of righteous headers on an amazing Hemi. This has everybody wanting to have a look, including Ted himself.
TTI headers, they're fabulous. Probably got, I don't know, 1,000 hours in this car this week, so we got to figure out how to do that.
They know it's going to look cool, and they know it's going to move. But right now, they can't say for sure if this setup is going to fit. We'll see when we return with more Hot Rod TV. Kenny Wayne Shepherd wants to make a 72 Charger into a pro touring masterpiece. The question, can this team get it done?
We're going to get it done.
The Spring Festival of LXs. That's where this car will debut, with the LX being the body platform of many great Mopars, including the Magnum, the Chrysler 300, and of course, the Charger.
We're 5 days out from the deadline. As you can see, we got all the guys thrashing away on the car.
That's putting it mildly.
We just got the engine on this engine stand that we're going to use to lower the car down onto the K-frame. You know, that's kind of one of the two ways that you can put the engine into a Mopar.
And of course, a Hemi like this one going into this car needs just the right transmission, complete with a shifter that Kenny's dying to throw.
So what we have here is a short throw shifter with a modern day interpretation of the pistol grip shifter.
Now that's how you shift a Hemi.
A buddy of mine, Dan, over at Billet Technology, made this for me, and it's going to look really great inside the car.
Okay, Let's do this thing.
Well, basically,
Yeah, this is a moment of truth.
yeah, we're gonna find out if the transmission fits in the tunnel that we made.
With so much being custom on this ride, there's no way to know if it will fit together until it fits together.
I think we got it, man. I mean, there's enough room in there.
Or maybe not.
Well, maybe I spoke too soon. We got a little excited, and now it looks like the transmission isn't going to fit. There's just some clearance problems in the tunnel. We raised the tunnel 3 inches, and there's still not enough clearance, so we're on the phone right now with the guy who designed the front suspension. We're trying to get maybe some information from him that might help us out, so we'll see what happens.
That didn't take long, and that's a good thing, because as it stands, time is not on their side.
So we just got the engine and transmission in place. We got the interior, the rear end, the brakes, all the fuel lines, the electrical. A lot left to do, but we're gonna get it done in time. We got 5 days, that's all there is to it. We're gonna make it happen.
They have to make it happen. The MOPAR world will be viewing this car at the festival, and when they get their first look, it all has to be there. Currently, there's a lot going on, and Kenny's got his hands on everything, working on the inside of this down-to-the-wire thrash. Later, as Kenny tends to even more final touches, there's a focus on the music. As the sound system comes together, it's going to be a complete package.
So all together, we're just doing a 2-amp system, 2 subs, 4 speakers. You sound great.
It's a sound system being built for a world-famous guitarist, so the pressure is on to make it incredible. Of course, while the sound is one thing, the appearance is another.
All right, well, I went ahead and I fabricated a new package tray for him. It's gonna hold the 2 kicker 6s. Also, what I did, just to flavor things up a little bit, I went ahead and I made an insert. This design actually mimics the same design that's on the amplifier, so instead of just having a basic flat panel back here, gives a little flavor to it.
Later, it's a new set of pipe work with the exhaust team. Fabricators who have to make it original on a ride like this, creating a different twist at every turn.
Yeah, we got to do some modifying, but
Hey, whatever it takes to get this 72 Charger to the show on time. Elsewhere, the rubber meets the rims as the guys get those Michelins mounted.
So what we're running here is some 19s in the front, some 20s in the back. They're Foose Challenger wheels with some Michelin Pilot Sport rubber.
The wheels go on, and there's no doubt about it. They look hot. That turns out to be a very cool reminder, because one of the few missing elements at this point just happens to be the air conditioning. But not to worry, thanks to classic auto air, Kenny's got it covered.
Now that's cool.
Before long, they're finishing up under the hood. And nearby, they're also getting ready to finish that custom dash.
This is it. We're getting ready to install it, and hopefully everything's going to work properly, and we'll be on our way.
Man, oh man, Redline really does know its stuff. Now, it's time to start this beast. There's still a few bugs to get out of the system, but if any team can iron out the kinks, it's these guys.
Everybody's working real hard. The car is coming together. I cannot wait to see it when it's done, but you're gonna have to. See you at the show.
The day arrives, and it's one big MOPAR celebration. When we return, we'll take you to the center of it all, along with the reveal of Kenny's Charger. At Ted Moser's Picture Car Warehouse, Kenny Wayne Shepherd and a team of builders recreated a 72 Charger. They reworked every bit of it and put a new Hemi under the hood. They changed the body so they could put some serious tires on this vehicle. Now they're about to unveil it at that celebration known as the Festival of LXs. Let's drift on over. This event is pure MOPAR mania. Everywhere you look, you see fast-moving, eye-catching rides. Many are here to see the Charger. Luckily, the build was finished in time.
We made it. I haven't slept all night, but we made it here, and we're gonna reveal the car, and it's gonna be great, so let's get to it. I'm really honored to be here. One of the reasons that I'm here is because I'm a MOPAR enthusiast. I am a Dodge Charger SRT8 owner.
It's the moment they've all been waiting for, and Kenny's as thrilled as the crowd.
Here it is, man. It's a 1972 Dodge Charger. Has one of the brand new 6.4 liter 392 Hemi fuel injected engines with 525 horsepower, 510 foot-pounds of torque.
Yeah, that'll get it done. It took a team of builders that worked long and hard, and now that it's here and incredibly well received, Ted Moser can breathe a deep sigh of relief.
We made it. Looks great.
For true fans of those Chargers from the 70s, it doesn't get any better than this.
It's a car that's long overdue to be done, and they just nailed it.
Just looking to see that old school with the new school. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's where the future's at with the car.
Master car designer Steve Stanford has his own thoughts on the 72 Charger.
It's got great lines. It's sort of underrepresented in the street machine / muscle car world. And I think it just takes some imagination to see this blank canvas for what it can be.
Seems this guy knew something all along.
Kenny has that effect on people, whether it's his music and his blues. They're listening to the blues for the first time, or they're looking at this MOPAR for the very first time. It's just part of his personality. He has a new way of looking at things.
And now he's got a new hot rod.
You know, these cars are pretty cool in the first place, but now with this new 392 Hemi, all the cool stuff from Summit Racing, I just want to get in this thing, crank it up, turn up that classic auto air, and head on down the road, because it does not get any better than that.
And that's coming from a guy who knows just how good things can really get. We'll see you next time on Hot Rod TV.